My name is Alcide Menetrier, and I'm going to be playing Beethoven Sonata No.4.
So let's start by saying something which maybe is obvious to you, but I'm not so sure that it was obvious when you were playing. And that is that the violin and piano sonata is a piece that has 3 parts. Has a violin part and a right hand of the piano and a left hand of the piano. And the relationship between these 3 parts is forever changing. Okay? So you could be playing the main line and both hands of the piano could be accompanying you. The piano could be playing the main line and the left hand of the piano accompanying and you accompanying. You could have a dialogue with the right hand of the piano. You could have a dialogue with the left hand of the piano. You can join together, you know, and the possibilities, they're not endless, there's no such a thing, but there are many. Okay? And what happens in an interesting and good sonata, which this one certainly is that it is constantly switching. And so your role is not the same all the time. So the sound automatically has to be switching, and your attention has to be switching too. So, for example, when you are playing something in dialogue with the piano, then you probably want to imitate the articulation of the piano. Now, is the violin ever going to sound like the piano? No. You know, I mean, it cannot and it shouldn't. It's not supposed to. But you can, you know, do things that will imitate better. So when you play sometimes with the piano and you sustain the note and sustain it, and the piano cannot do that no matter what they try, not even with a pedal, it just cannot be. It doesn't make any sense, right? If you're playing a secondary voice and then you're switching to main voice, you can't have the same sound because we're not going to know. You see, you need to tell. This is what's happening now. This is what's happening now. We switched roles. You know, I'm not hearing it. Okay, so this is a fundamental thing about any sonata. It is not particularly true of Beethoven, but it is for sure true of Beethoven also. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Then the second thing I wanted to talk about is dynamics. So dynamics are one of the, you know, notations that we have in music. And Beethoven uses dynamics extensively, and he uses it for humor, and he uses it for surprise, and he uses it for dramatic effect, and he uses it for a variety of reasons. And I think that you need to take it very seriously. You know, I think the approximation of dynamics doesn't work. So when he goes from forte suddenly to piano, it needs to be shocking, you know, because there is some kind of an effect that is related to it. And I think it's really a character matter, okay? So this, I think you need to be a little more serious about it. And I have another comment to make. You have a tendency to always round down ending. So everything goes, and yeah, and I finished, and then I finished again, and then I finished again, you know, and the level of energy is constantly sagging. You know, this is a highly energetic movement. Highly energetic, you know, and if you keep sagging, and you know, it really sounds a little bit like, oh, I got so tired, you know. Yeah, I'm tired now too, you know. I don't think that an ending necessarily has to go down. Yeah. You know, you have to think about what kind of an ending it is. Okay, so I think we should start from the beginning. So, what is the general character of this movement?
Well, very tormented. So,
yeah, dramatic, very dramatic, yeah, and very active, right? So when you play a long note and you play da, that's not very active, right? Okay, so I mean, I understand that she's playing the main thing, it's true, but what are you adding to it? You see? And you have to participate in character for sure. Okay? So let's start from the beginning. exactly right here. You see, until from here, you took over and you become the main line. I didn't hear anything changing. It was exactly the same. Maybe a little louder, but that's not what I'm talking about. You see, the thing is, I'm accompanying now. Now it's mine, right? You talk differently.
Of course.
Finished. At least a breath. It's not you know, business as usual. I just go on. You see, and I really need you to do. I'm done. And then, you know, that's a totally different thing, right? It needs to be clear. Now, there's a question of listening, you know? And listening is partially about anticipating what the other person is going to do. So you see, it's not enough for you to hear that she's playing this now. You have to know what she's going to play here too, because you're supposed to be with her there too, and there too, and there too. At the beginning, you're all the time just a little behind.
Okay.
It's not a lot, but it's just a little bit. You see, and again, you're playing with her left hand. Are you listening to the left hand? I'm not too sure.
Okay.
No. Okay. You see, so if you do, then you're already late.
Okay.
You see,
More anticipation.
no, more preparation. So you have to, where is the second beat? If you do this, the second beat is nowhere because your arm is not preparing for the next thing. So you're stuck here. So when you play a dotted quarter, it's da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dee-da-da-dum. And if you hear that in your head, then you won't be late.
Okay.
Right? This is lacking rhythmic strength. You see, it doesn't have beats. And one, right? And then you can go on here. But if you do, it is really melodic without having rhythmic strength. Yeah? Yeah, so this, who is the main line here?
Well, yeah. I mean, all together we form a new
And
voice.
you play, you know, you think that that's equal to what she's doing. You really do?
No.
You see? And why? Here, it's in the most uncomfortable place possible, you know. You know, and don't be so modest about it, you know. What is the purpose of this?
Well, it's a commentary to,
But by what kind?
well, a gentle one to the more forte.
You know, I think it's not so gentle. I think it's a little funny.
Okay.
You know, it's not. No, right?
Okay.
Just a C major scale.
Oh, okay.
Just, you know, just as it comes, simple. Okay, so you have three statements, and in some ways they're all the same. But in a fundamental way, they're not. Which is the way that they're not the same?
Well, they go up, obviously.
But yeah, but what is the importance about go up?
Well, to create
It's a different
more,
key.
Yeah, but it creates more tension.
No, it's a different key. I don't know about tension. You have a C major, you know,
Yeah,
and then what is the next one?
The E.
E what?
E minor.
Okay, so C major, E minor, and the third one?
Well, G.
Major.
Major.
Okay,
Right.
well, you know, so it's not about going up, because he could have easily made them go down too. It would have been the same. You know, you go from major to minor to major, you know. It is significant. And knowing what we know about Beethoven, who said, I never decide on the character of my piece before I know its tonality. Tonality is incredibly important. Okay? Now, this is not about tonality, because the tonality is not changing, but the harmony is changing. No question he thinks there is a different color to it.
I mean,
You're playing it exactly the same. I don't hear you. Play it. You know, I always tell my students, and they get very angry with me, I don't care what you hear. I care what they hear. And if it says piano, they need to hear piano, not you. If they hear nothing. It's not piano.
okay.
Play, play. Yeah. So you see, you're becoming sentimental. And Beethoven is many things. I mean, Beethoven covers the whole gamut of human experience and emotion. Sentimentality is not one of them. I dare you to find me one sentimental moment in Beethoven. He doesn't do that, you know? And so becoming like that, I don't think works.
Okay.
You know, this movement depends on a strong rhythmic character. You cannot lose the rhythmic character for color or for a different expression. The rhythm must remain.
Interesting.
Okay, so this is accompaniment. This is no longer, right? So you need to change your voice. You know, it's like saying it's me now. Okay, so go from this. Which hand are you playing with?
Well, I'm playing with the left hand.
Maybe, but you're not with it. You should be playing with the left hand. Can you really, you know, this is where anticipating is important. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, then you're late. So you need to feel dee la da dee la da da, right? Why? Why you go?
Yeah.
It's literally sounding like I'm so tired now.
Okay.
You know? And by the way, what is the harmony there?
Well,
Which is the dominant of which you're going to.
Yeah.
So how can you finish on the dominant?
Yeah, and being.